still coming in, so we might just give it another minute so everyone can get into the virtual presentation hall. Right, Gaz, we might kick it off. So,
yep, sounds good.
On behalf of Milestone and Hikvision, myself and Gary Hickey would just like to welcome everyone this afternoon. Thank you for joining us for today's session. Just to let everybody know, we are recording today's session and it will be made available should you request it afterwards. For those that couldn't attend today that you know wanted to, please share with them that they can contact myself and Gary and the teams to get access to the recording if they need it. So we'll kick it off. Today we're going to be presenting the relationship between Milestone and Hikvision and the edge-based analytics from the Hikvision devices and how those interact in XProtect and how operators can make use of those. As I mentioned earlier, myself and Gary will be presenting today's session, and we'll just take you through a very, very brief high-level overview of Milestone as the organization, the XProtect open platform, and talk a bit about what is available from Hikvision. I'll touch very briefly on that and show you a couple of things before I hand over to Gary and the team, who will run you through an in-depth elaboration on what the features and capabilities are of the Hikvision devices and the edge-based AI analytics, and how those look in XProtect. And we'll jump into an integration demonstration. There is also a question chat box. So while we're going through the presentation and the demonstration, please, we encourage you type your questions into those boxes and we'll get through as many as we can at the end of the session. So let's get straight into it. What is XProtect? So it's quite commonly known and referred to the product as Milestone. So Milestone Systems is the organization. We were founded in 1998 in Copenhagen in Denmark, where our head office is. And we developed the XProtect platform. That is our product. And what the XProtect platform, for those that don't know, is an open-based architecture video management system, which we now term a platform. And really what this allows organizations to do is build and scale solutions based on various types of product that can integrate into the XProtect platform through our Milestone integration platform, our software development kit. So over the years, the open platform has really become the substance of what Milestone Systems has built our product around. And through that, we have developed some very long-standing and meaningful relationships and encouraged to grow that community of technology partners that continue to develop product either specifically for XProtect that can integrate into further enhance capabilities for organizations and operators that use the XProtect platform, be it the smart client, the mobile client, or the web client. We're starting to see a lot of progression around audio capabilities and body-worn technologies, amongst a whole host of other IoT devices that can now integrate into the XProtect platform. So today we'll take a look at the capabilities of the Hikvision devices. And what I wanted to highlight here was the beginning of last year, we released to the market something called the Milestone Marketplace. This is a forum or a repository rather, where you can access a whole host of integration technologies and get further information on how those integrations are connected into XProtect. You're also able, in some cases, to download accessible plugins and installer files, as well as documentation on how to install those products onto your XProtect system and how to use them into your XProtect client as well. So here is an example of the Hikvision capabilities and availabilities and how they are listed and verified and certified in some cases in the Milestone marketplace. It's a really great portal where it gives you some information on the organization, as well as a hyperlink to connect directly with the Hikvision team here as well. I've just included the link to where you could find it. So it would be milestonesys.com/marketplace. When you get to that point, you would have a free text bar where you could type in Hikvision or a particular integration that they have available as well, and go further into exploring more about those different integrations, connect with the team, get some documentation, get some downloaded files, and actually run trials in some cases. Gary and Wen will elaborate more about the availability, and I'm sure you'll have some questions around some commercials associated with that Gary and Wen would be happy to answer with. And without stealing their thunder, I'll let them get into that in more detail. So just to give you a very high level snapshot of some of the things that we'll be going through today, we'll be taking a look at the face appearance and the facial recognition plugin. We'll also take a very brief look at the fish ID warping. We'll take a look at what you will see as well is some metadata information and bounding boxes. We'll also go through some people counting metrics and how that looks in XProtect and how you can interact with that, as well as the LPR functionality. And if we have some time, we'll go through how the alarms pop up in the XProtect Smart Client, and also how you can filter those alarms extremely quickly using the new XProtect centralized search functionality at the end. But I really want to stress that we're going to be focusing on a lot of the functionality that the Hikvision devices offer from an edge-based capability. And how is this possible? So there's been a lot of talk within the industry around the OnViv protocol and the availability of OnViv and that sort of thing. So we wanted to highlight today for you that the capability of these integrations and the supported functions from these devices is developed through a dedicated Hikvision driver framework, which we used. So it gives a more deeper and broader support for a lot of the technologies and capabilities that continue to be released from the Hikvision devices. So again, if you have any questions at this point, I want to hand over to Gary and Wen. Gary will be going through a bit more information on the Hikvision devices. So with that, Gaz, I'll stop sharing my screen and hand over to you, mate.
G'day, can everyone hear me now? Great, thanks Mike, appreciate that. Give me one moment while we just jump into our side of the presentation. Everyone can see my screens. So welcome everyone, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name's Gary Hickey and I'm Business Development Manager with Hikvision Australia. As mentioned, we encourage questions, just enter them in the Q&A box below your screen and we'll do our best to answer them in the time allowed. Otherwise, we'll respond after this webinar. So following on from what Mike has previously mentioned in previous slides, in order for us to achieve a number of supported smart features and functions mentioned, we need an interface between our two technologies, which we call a plugin. You simply require one installer package for all plugins. The plugin includes the metadata, ANPR, facial rec application, and thermal information to be passed into the XProtect platform. Simply select the features you wish to enable when installing, and best of all, it's all free. As mentioned by Mike, the plugins are available in the Milestone marketplace. Just search for Hikvision and they will come up in their web place. A couple of points to note for our fisheye camera dewarping. This feature is installed on the XProtect client and not on the server. And secondly, you will notice there is a feature there under body camera. This feature is currently under development. It's not available via the Milestone marketplace as yet, but please contact us for more information. So supported product lines. So we move on to our supported product lines. From a hardware standing point, the list of supported lines incorporate multiple Hikvision technologies and camera form factors. One point to make mention is our PanaView series, which are our multi-lens camera range. These are only supported by XProtect, however, via the Hikvision generic driver. For more information on these supported devices, you can visit the Milestone Community Partner Tools and Supported Devices page. That will give you more concurrent information. DeepinView product overview. For us to achieve the varied functionality, we turn to our 7 series, or referred to as our DeepinView range of cameras. Hikvision has recently released its 2nd generation range with enhanced capabilities over our Gen 1 series and developed smart features, which I will cover off as we continue through our presentation. Intelligent smart features. The core of our DeepinView range is a combination of edge analytics and high-level integration into XProtect, with our 4 smart features available. Facial recognition, comprising of face capture, database comparison, target lists, and alerts provide users with accurate and rapid identification. Our people counting solution, incorporating simple entry-exit statistics, advanced occupancy management, provides users with live feedback and alerts when limits are exceeded, and reporting for historical review. In addition, I will provide an example of our tailgating detection further on in our presentation. Vehicle analysis, utilizing ANPR, consists of lists, alerts, and advanced vehicle search. We can assist users quickly ascertain vehicles on or off site, or who may even be a VIP. And finally, perimeter protection, utilize improved algorithms to reduce false activations, either with our optical or our thermal range of cameras through metadata. Facial recognition and comparison. Here is where I'm going to now start to delve into our smart features, and in particular talk about what changes we've made in our recent Generation 2 series. So our range of facial recognition cameras are all in one edge-based solution that allows for capture, recognition, or comparison and result. By providing comparisons, we can generate alerts based on lists, such as a block list, a contractor list, or even a VIP list, with multiple libraries of up to 90,000 faces. Additional camera options have also been made available to match site aesthetics and also environment. Face recognition from an XProtect perspective. So we've listed a couple of screenshots here. Key features that we do see here is face detection and capture. So if you look at the center of the screen where we'll have a quad view of some cameras, say one of those cameras is our face detection camera. As the camera captures a face, it will actually form at the bottom of the screen, and then to the right of the screen you'll actually see the comparison table, and that's based upon that person's face matching someone within the database with a percentage. We can also search by face through image and attributes. We move on to our people counting solution. Our range of people counting cameras also grown to provide more options to match the aesthetics and environment. These include domes, bullets, and of course our traditional ceiling mount. Occupancy management, counting cameras display in real time the number of people that enter, exit, and stay in an area, also referred to as retention. In addition, the camera generates an alarm when a threshold reaches its desired capacity. Tailgating detection. Our people counting cameras can also be used in tailgating situations, especially integrated into access control systems that implement a one swipe, one entry policy. Can generate alerts when a second person breaches the rule. Furthermore, in conjunction with our recognition cameras, provide face capture and comparison to identify an individual in an event. Our solution can be used over multiple retail and business verticals. From an people counting from an XProtect perspective, so you can see the 2 screenshots that we have here available. So key features involve seeing in real time the counting of data of one or multiple cameras. We can filter counting via report for one or multiple cameras by the number of people that have entered and exited. Also over a period of time, whether it might be a day, a date, a week, a month, or a year. Moving on to our ANPR. So our Gen 2 ANPR cameras provide enhanced algorithms to provide higher accuracy and focus on vehicle priority. That's quite an important feature. Avoiding false recognitions from such things as road signs or other marked objects in the camera's field of view. We've also introduced no plate detection, and this has been introduced where we can actually recognize a vehicle with no plate. Direction detection is also another feature where we can capture and recognize vehicles entering and exit areas, such as unmanned parking areas. We also support vehicle directional counting and wrong direction alerts, i.e. vehicles going in the wrong direction down a one-way street. Data security has also been improved across multiple protocols and media. An ANPR perspective in XProtect. So key features also, so we were able to see detected license plates in real time. We can search by license plate, time, or even one of the lists that I mentioned earlier, whether they're allowed or disallowed on site. We can centralize these lists into a configuration with multiple cameras. So we can have up to approximately 10 lists. We can receive ANPR alarms. We can trigger additional events per list in XProtect. And the great thing is, again, no extra server or license is required. As we move on, we have our thermal perimeter protection. So this thermal perimeter protection consists of VCA alarms with different attributes. So when we talk about VCA, we talk about alarm attributes such as line crossing, intrusion, so when someone enters a zone. We also use part of our deep learning and background modeling to reduce false alarms, but depending on whether it's a person or a vehicle within the scene. These attributes are part of the metadata that is received via the camera to XProtect client. Perimeter protection as a perspective within XProtect. So viewing the metadata from our cameras in XProtect Smart Client, we can see anything from bounding boxes, alarms, line crosses, and zones. Those alarms are listed below the image, and they can be then managed within the alarm manager. We can also receive alarms from thermal cameras as well. So not just optical, but thermal, where we can include line crossing, intrusion, and also region in and out. So without further ado, let's start the demo. We aim to provide an overview of the smart features within XProtect. So give me one moment while I jump over between screens. So we can all see my screen. Great. Okay, so as you can see, we're basically connected to the Milestone XProtect Smart Client, and we are currently in live view. So our live view consists of an ANPR camera, a people counting camera, a thermal camera, and also a facial recognition camera. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go through some of the tabs and some of the features whilst we're in this screen. So we'll go to the playback tab first. The playback tab basically allows a synchronized playback of the current displayed cameras. Any cameras can be used to playback from this tab. As we move over to our ANPR tab, and I'm going to skip the search and alarm and come back to those later. So first, I'd like to just cover the current features, and then we'll go back to them. So with the ANPR integration, it allows us to show a live view of events and a number of plate generation. We can create different lists such as allow, blocked, or even VIP, as I mentioned earlier, and search by number plate through a clever search filter in XProtect, which you can see on screen. And I'll get Wen just to test one now. So as you can see in the top left-hand corner, we can actually see the number plates identified with the vehicle and plate registration. Let's move on to the people counting tab. So the people counting tab basically gives us an overview of people that have entered an area, people who have exited an area, and people retained in the area, so the people in region. So that's oftentimes in the Hikvision terms we call as retention. I'll go to a live view now, and we'll see a person actually count through the camera. So the bottom left hand, you'll see bottom left hand corner of the quad, you will see as we walk through, we'll have an enter and exit, and that number will change in the top right hand corner of that video. Now, as that view changes, that people count on the camera as well as on inside XProtect will also change as well. Using our counting cameras in live and real time, we can actually see how many people have entered an area and exited an area and provide comprehensive reporting and comparison. Those reports can then also be extracted for historical evidence. Last but not least, we'll move on to our thermal tab and the smart feature available, where we can create regions of interest for alerts, whether that we used on perimeter or line crossing scenarios, or even changes in temperature detection through our metadata. You will notice that we do have a camera on screen, and we are measuring temperature surfaces, and basically just created a little zone there that allows us to actually monitor high and low temperatures, and also provide that feedback within the actual review list below in the bottom part of the screen. Excuse me. Finally, we move to our search tab. Sorry, my apologies. So how do we review all the alerts once we've configured in the system? We turn to our Alarm Manager tab. Where all our smart features and system events are gathered, where we can actually view and identify multiple alarms and events such as facial recognition, ANPR, people counting, and also thermal. They can be reviewed there based upon the alarm and its priority in the system. Finally, we move to our search tab. This is where we use filters to eliminate thousands of smart events and system events using combined tools to eliminate unwanted information and providing the operator result-based thumbnails, images of events required in the event of an incident. This now ends our video demonstration. Please bear with me whilst we change our screens. Now, before we finish off, we just want to cover off on our DeepinView product guide. So we've basically created a matrix here just to show off our camera lines. If we move to the top part of the product lines, we do have our full bodies, we have our domes, and we also have our bullet cameras that allow features like people counting, facial recognition, perimeter security, and have XProtect integration. We also have our ANPR camera in bullet form. That also has our XProtect integration, as we've already discussed. We have our ceiling mount people counting camera, which has been around for quite some time and now is in its generation 2 form factor. And then we go down to our TD series, which is our thermal device series, which is primarily used for perimeter security. And again, all use an XProtect integration. Now, one of the important things to remember is that with these camera models, XProtect version 2020 R1 is recommended and above. Okay, so that's quite an important one, is that we do require XProtect 2020 release 1 as part of our integration. So we'll move now to any questions that have been listed within the format. Mike, did you want to just jump in now?
Yeah, thanks, guys. So there's been a lot of questions that have come through, and we have tried to answer those as the presentation has gone on. So thanks for those that have shot through your questions. There are two open ones, Gary. I know you touched on it, but maybe just to revisit it. Are there any costs associated with the integrations with the Hike devices into XProtect?
No, there are not.
Awesome. Another one around facial recognition, and perhaps Wen could assist here as well, is how is the face database updated?
Sorry, give me one sec. It's updating through the camera, Mike. The actual face database is updated through the camera.
Okay, so the camera web interface, that's where the management of the faces that camera is looking at is...
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. The interesting thing about that is XProtect Smart Client has a web browser view, which can be created, where you could actually be able to manage that database in the XProtect Smart Client through the page of the camera. There is a comment here that says, currently there is an additional license per camera when using this plugin for the MIP driver. Is this likely to change in the future? Now that's probably something that comes from us, Gaz, so we might take that and take a look at that one post today's presentation.
Yep. Okay.
Another question around the facial database on the cameras. Is there any way to update multiple cameras' face database?
That I will have to review with our guys, and I'll come back to that one.
Fantastic. So just so everybody knows, if we don't get the answer to you verbally today, we will record these questions, review them, and we will contact you via email with suitable responses and look to go through those with you as well.
Great.
There is one other, I thought, just around the if there was any timeline on the full support for the 2x65 series cameras. Currently, they are not listed on the supported devices list, and I see there was a response given there, but for the benefit of everyone on the call, the answer was that Hikvision are submitting models monthly to the Milestone team for certification, and most likely these 2x65 models will be certified with Milestone in the Milestone list probably around October. Then there was a question around the version, and Gary, I know that you touched on this. The question was around what XProtect version has been used for these tests for phase comparison and LPR, etc. And I know that you mentioned that you suggest XProtect version 2020 R1 or newer.
That's correct. That is correct.
That's pretty much the bulk of the questions. There's some repetition. Okay.
Was there anything in relation to camera form factors at all? So I'm just having problems just trying to see the questions here because I've just on the screen.
Nothing around form factors that I can see, guys.
No, okay. Anything to do with metadata searches or? I mean, look, we'll get back to anyone with questions regardless. So I mean, I'm sure there'll be hundreds of questions around further information around how we configure these cameras and how we actually install them, and especially in particular the database on board the camera.
Sure. There was one here. All these features such as facial recognition and license plate recognition and people counting available on all Hikvision's cameras or just cameras that have the features built in?
So it's all the 7 series or DeepinView cameras.
Perfect. Perfect.
These all these smart features that we've talked about today are very much all our 7 series. And I can actually go back to the previous slide. If I can get that up. Yeah, I'll get that one back up again when it wants to work. So, yeah, we have the IDS series -2CD 7, and then any of those series cameras will basically work with our people counting, facial rec, and perimeter. And then we also have a particular ANPR camera, which works a little bit differently, but that's something that we can talk about when the time comes. And that can also interface into an access control system and actually virtually become a virtual card reader in order to open and close boom gates and electric gates and so forth. So, and then as I mentioned earlier, we do have our 2CD 6825, which is our overhead or ceiling mount people counting camera. And then to finish off, just the thermal device series, which is a 2TD series.
Okay. There is quite an important question here. What are the limitations, if any, using the Enverve protocol compared to the Hikvision generic driver?
The Hikvision generic driver, I believe, has a lot more features as opposed to the to an OnViv driver. We always recommend using the Hikvision one, purely because we do have some additional feature sets that allow the integration between Hikvision and Milestone to work a lot more effectively, and also, in particular, the metadata that's been transferred via our generic driver works a lot more better.
Okay. A question around facial recognition, and given the time, Gary, I think this might be our last one. Can the facial recognition analytic cover custom searches such as hair color, specs, I'm assuming that is glasses or spectacles, what they wear, facial shape, and again, what they wear?
Currently, that is being reviewed. So no, we don't do it currently. We are under development with that. So stay tuned, and we'll keep the market. We'll give the market some updates in the near future.
Perfect. All right. With that, guys, if you just want to jump through. Yep. So through our, no, put that one up there as well.
Put that one up there as well.
Yeah. So through our mutual distribution partners, we encourage you to reach out to them if you're looking for commercials around the XProtect versions of product that you can pick up, as well as the Hikvision devices that integrate that we've been through today. We also encourage you to reach out to your local Milestone or Hikvision representative in the area or the region where you are. Failing which, you can always reach out to myself and Gary. We'd be more than happy to field your questions, help you out, or point you in the right direction where we can.
All right.
Beautiful, Gaz.
Well, thank you. Thanks very much, Mike. Thanks to the Milestone team, and also to the Hike guys working in the background to get this this webinar done today. Appreciate everyone's time, and thank you very much for joining us. We will be in touch, as Mike mentioned in the beginning of this presentation, to anyone that has not joined us. Please get them to reach out, and we will communicate this webinar in, I believe, in a PDF format, which everyone will receive. And if you've got any other further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Yep.
Thanks again. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks, Danielle.